everyone watching at home. Welcome to Adelaide Eternal's finals of the Adelaide Eternal Highlander Cup for 2019. I am Sarven McLinton. In the booth with me is Drew Carter.
Hi, everyone.
So, thank you very much. Unfortunately, you'll see that we've got a little bit of a slideshow playing, and that's because this matchup starts right in the thick of it. We're going to go down to the match. We're going to see them with their lands out, ready to play. But before we do that, I'd just like to say thank you very much on behalf of the Adelaide Eternal team for all of our interstate competitors who came along. They came from far and wide to come and throw down for the Mox Emerald, which you'll see in play very shortly. And also thank you to our locals who come along and support our tournaments every month and also came out of the woodwork to throw down for this gauntlet. It was really, really sweet to see you all, and we're hoping to put this on again in 2020 for the Adelaide Eternal 2020 Highlander Cup.
Absolutely.
So let's have a look at this matchup. So this matchup is actually between Beckett Wolfe on Junk and Graham King on Blue Moon. It is an interesting matchup because it is a flashback to 2014, when these two decks were reigning supreme. It's also a battle of the heavyweights, one of the greatest conversion rate players, Graham King from Melbourne, and one of the greatest Adelaide conversion rate players, Beckett Wolfe. So it's interesting to see the states getting to battle, and also seeing whether or not we can keep the Adelaide Eternal Highlander Cup trophy in SA or not.
You often say hark back to 2014. Maybe there's something in that. Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe it's just people...
cyclical. Things are cyclical.
Yeah, it's fashion. Right? Speaking of fashion, we have right now Graham King's deck on the screen.
Yeah, Graham King defeated me in the semi-final. He got back to basics both games and just he got me good with it. So well done, Graham. The list is really sweet. It's rocking niv-mizzet right at the top on the 6th drop.
And I love the fact that it's like niv-mizzet / Blood Moons with a daze to protect it. And you just play it, and they're like, you're control, you don't have daze. They try and counter it, and they try and remove the niv-mizzet or something, and then he dazes them, and you're like, oh, you got me. I saw that happen, so...
Yeah, you always get them with daze. It's
yeah, it's awesome.
I mean, in terms of this matchup, Dark and Shackles is good. It's got the sweepers.
Is going to do work.
Yeah.
In the sideboard.
Subterranean Tenants, Tremors in the sideboard. Sweltering Suns, Hour of Devastation in the main.
Draw is relevant as well because I believe Graham is highest in the Swiss. He was like second or third in the Swiss.
Yeah,
he
was higher.
Yeah, so that means he will be on the play. And being on the play is just so good when you're on a moon deck. You just want to be able to try and bolt their bird turn one and then try and make sure that you leverage a situation where your moon is going to resolve and it's going to stick around before they can actually play any mana dorks.
Yeah, so we've seen both these decks earlier in the tournament. Beckett, you're talking about moons, but Beckett's deck's fairly resilient against moons. It's got basics and he likes to fetch them.
Mm-hmm.
It's got mana dorks. It's got equipment, which you can cast through moon. And it's got
pod, and pod's really, really good under moon as well.
Carpet of Flowers out of the sideboard, choke, just to punish blue decks. So it's definitely an interesting matchup. Would you say on balance, which deck is favoured?
So in game one, I believe Junk is favoured. And this is mainly, and play draw is here or there, but it's mainly because Blue Moon is it finds it really, really hard to grind, and Junk is the definition of grinding. And so Blue Moon tries to leverage those moons. If you don't have the moon, though, and if your opponent fetches basics like Beckett does, and has a mana dork on turn one, or is able to play a Knight of Autumn or something, these are all things that just go against the Blue Moon player. It makes it really, really hard for them to maintain control of the game. Post-board, I think that for the Blue Moon decks, often depending on how you play it, you can either A, take out your moons, and go, look, you're a mana dork deck, it's going to be really hard for me to leverage these, and you have real spells, and then you grind a lot better. Anger of the Gods and so on help you grind. Or post-board, the Junk deck just manages to snap off a choke at the right time or a Bitter Blossom and leverage those enchantments, and it could be favoured. So I believe that post-board, it's like a 50-50 matchup, but pre-board, I believe Junk is like slightly favoured. Very, very slightly, not a lot.
And a lot of it is about the mana, isn't it? That's what we've been saying.
It's it's all about mana.
Okay. The only other thing that might count is that blue-red may lack tools to deal with high toughness creatures as well, if they resolve.
Yeah,
but there's a lot of tools to stop them from resolving.
And Graham's definitely got the counters in the form of the Unexpected Days et al., just to make sure that those don't resolve. But Hour of Devastation is going to be great in this matchup.
And Cryptic Command can be good too, timed right.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this goes. We obviously know the result, but for those at home, you're enjoying this for the first time. So we're going to be completely agnostic, result agnostic, and we are going to be in the thick of it with you. So let's go down to the match, and we'll see the players have started off with a basic land each, and there's the Mox Emerald right there, ready for the winner to take home. And the trophy in the background there with the cup.
Yeah, right near the life total there.
So this was a Mana Dork. Oh, what? So this was a Dryad Arbor of Green Sun Zenith. Very, very common play to see when you don't have a Mana Dork. But unfortunately, Graham King, who was on the play, was able to fire the Mana Dork, which sets Beckett Wolfe back into the Stone Age. Really, really hard for him to catch up from this.
I suspect it may have been fetch for the Dryad Arbor or something, but I can't see
No, it was a Green Sun Zenith for the Dryad Arbor. So
but he's on 18. Anyway, he's looking at Graham's hand now, which has got some good cheap interaction.
So there's no Blood Moon in here. Basically, the Inquisition of Kozilek was there as a conservative play to make sure he doesn't just lose to Blood Moon on turn 3. And now that he knows the way is clear with no Blood Moon, he's going to be able to deploy threats and actually, try and close the game rather than durdle with hand disruption.
Yeah, you're right about Green Suns because that's got shuffled back into the deck. Okay.
Yep, and the fire hit him for 1.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. So the Duck's is good insurance against the equipment on the side of mid range.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm just going to take Dak here because Dak is the most mana efficient card. So it means that Graham can just jam Dak, tap out with it. Whereas if he takes JVP, oh, that's unexpected.
So what does that tell you about Beckett's hand?
That tells you that Beckett's probably got Lingering Souls, and he's going to use the Lingering Souls to pressure the Dak. I don't know.
It's not Mana Dorks because he would have played one.
So what do you think about JVP here? Because I think this is I think game 1, Beckett's deck has so many removal spells that are just dead, and playing JVP just switches them on. It just switches on, Swords to Plowshares and all these kind of those types of cards.
Yeah, it's Abrupt Decay, Assassin's Trophy, Swords to Plowshares. It's not that many. I think why he plays the JVP is because Beckett obviously is scared of the Electrolyze, so he wants access back to that as quickly as he can get.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's a good point.
He may also want to loot. Although, Duck gives you loot as well, so that's a moot point. So get rid of the expensive kind of clunker that's bad in the mid-range matchup.
Yeah. Oh, Search for Azcanta. So Search for Azcanta is not actually that good in matchups where they've got Night of Autumn and quite a few answers for it. But once it actually flips, actually no, sorry, I take that back. Search for Azcanta is not very good
because it can ramp you a little bit.
Yeah, no, because Beckett has Wasteland and Strip Mine. No, he's got Krakus and Strip Mine. He's got Strip Mine. So it's not as bad as I thought. I thought there was Wasteland and Strip Mine.
Well, there's the interaction.
Yeah, so that was definition of what we're saying, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, if you play JVP, it's just going to die. It's better to play it when...
There's Abrupt Decay too. Another reason why he might play JVP is that he has Spell Snare, which he wanted to keep up.
Yep, that makes sense. He could have top-decked it on that turn.
Here's the Duck.
Yep, Dak Faden.
So they're seeing a lot of cards now between Duck and Search.
Yeah. I expect the Brainstorm will get discarded because Dak Faden is just better than Brainstorm.
Yeah.
Yep, Brainstorm and land. And here's a fetch land. So he's got a counterspell up.
Yeah, he represented counterspell last turn as well when he played Search for Azcanta. So that's a bit off-putting for Beckett when he's got no pressure on board.
But I guess he can know that it's probably just a spell snare.
Now here's an interesting choice. Which do you get?
So I would hit the Dak Faden.
Oh, so would I.
Yeah, I would not hit the Search for Azcanta.
Yeah. So,
because you've got more answers to search, but you don't have as many answers to Dak Faden. You've only got 1 Abrupt Decay and 1 Assassin's Trophy.
And Dak takes equipment, and I think he's got
he's got Jitter. I know he's got Skull Clamp
in his hand. Yeah, but he must be scared of the long-term card advantage from search for some reason.
Dak Faden is just so much better than search with draw and discard. What he's doing is trying to go, well, I'm going to pressure Dak and I'm just going to attack it, but.
He doesn't have any creatures.
Yeah, he doesn't have any creatures. I think you know that they're going to flip the Azcanta, but the Azcanta consumes 4 mana a turn.
Yeah, the tempo's bad.
Yeah, it's really, really bad tempo, whereas Dak Faden is amazing. And I think that could be the critical misplay of the game. Or
There's fact.
fact or fiction off the top.
Sure.
Any number of cards doesn't matter because you got Dak Faden. This is again showing how important Dak Faden is. You can't split it. You can't give them 4 because Dak Faden represents the 4 best cards. You can't give them when you give them 3 and 2, they just take the 3. So you put the 2 best cards in the other one. So then they just take the 2. So like fact or fiction along with Dak Faden is absolutely insane. Whereas this wouldn't be the case with Search for Azcanta.
Yeah, and all those cards are quite good. Braid especially, and Ponder this turn. It's even got the mana source for the niv-mizzet to turn on niv-mizzet. I really like Graham's deck constructions.
Yeah.
It's really sweet.
Yeah, leveraging Niv is just so good.
He took the 2, interestingly, because he really values niv-mizzet in this spot, maybe? Well, I suppose niv-mizzet with Dak is fairly insane, and he knows...
niv-mizzet plus Dak, yep, fair point. Yet again, another reason why we're going to be harping on Beckett afterwards, being like, really? Did you abrupt decay the Search for Azcanta, the thing that they have to invest mana into and doesn't actually fix their hand, but instead didn't kill the Dak Faden, which interacts with all of your artifacts and also fixes their hand constantly?
Well, it gives you the mana to turn on the niv-mizzet, there it is, and then makes niv-mizzet amazing once you resolve it.
Yeah. It's the other reason why I don't like keeping the 2 card with Niv is because Thoughtseize just wrecks you. You don't know what your opponent's on, but like, just imagine getting Thoughtseized here.
Yeah.
How bad would you feel?
Yeah.
But if you just take the 3 and you just Dak up to the 2 better cards, it's just...
Yeah.
Just
I mean, Beckett's
better.
got the Assassin's Trophy, I think, for the niv-mizzet, but it could be too little too late because you can still get the trigger off of it and so on.
Yeah. What I do think is...
Into Dak Faden.
Beckett, what are you doing? No abrupt decay on Dak Faden instead. Oh well, here we go. Let's get a Batterskull that you can't play for a while, nor can. Yeah, I see what he's getting. I see what he's getting at. He's going like, I'll get Batterskull because you can gain control of Batterskull, but I'm going to have the Germ token and it's going to be attacking.
Yeah, there you go.
Assassin's Trophy.
In response to, well, just at end of turn, or maybe in response to the Dak. Yeah, activation. It resolves.
Yep, so niv-mizzet. And this is exactly why I didn't like keeping the niv-mizzet hand, but it's clearly going to pay off to some degree because you get a land and you get a card out of it, and then Dak Faden's going to do some drawing and discarding. But I do think that it's a symptom of the fact that niv-mizzet was so good all day, and Graham's been playing it in the deck and he's loving it, that you know how you see the card you love and you're just like, snap, take this. You know, I can see why you take the niv. It's high upside, but also very high downside, where they Thoughtseize you the next turn or something.
Do you think Beckett's still in this game, given that the land count is like that?
Yeah, I think he's still in it.
Okay.
Because the niv-mizzet's gone. I'm still operating in Bizarro World. Bizarro World is where the Dak Faden is correctly abrupt decayed. And
come back to this world.
in this alternate timeline, there is definitely hope for Beckett to get in with equipment, but instead we're in the darkest timeline where Dak Faden is on 6,
and he's gotten rid of Mental Misstep and Cleek there to Dak. Suggests he's got some pretty good cards in hand.
For sure.
Okay, so there's a bit of pressure on Dak, or
yeah, but Dak can just emblem.
Yeah,
so.
Although he's luckily the fire. Electrolyzer's in the bin at least, and fire. So he's not going to get massively blown out with 2-for-1s.
True. It all depends. If his hand is bad, then he Daks up. But if his hand is good, he Daks emblems.
How can the hand be bad at this point after so many Dak
activations?
Be, right?
Especially when you Direfleet Daredevil out their Lingering Souls. So you're the one that gets the tokens, not them.
Yeah, that was a sweet play.
I love Direfleeting someone's Lingering Souls. It's so satisfying. They'd been banking on it, they play accordingly, and this is where you do go up because you know that, well, Dak Faden's not going to die. And he's looking a lot better than Search for Azcanta.
So he's discarding 4, so he must have a 2-mana counterspell, yeah.
Yeah. This game is all but wrapped up now. There's very little way that Beckett can get back into this game.
Yeah, I mean, the Strangleroot Geist can't get past the Direfleet.
Yeah, first strike's so good. I love that 2-1 first strike.
He doesn't have double white for Council's Judgment to get rid of the Dak. Doesn't have double black for Planeswalkers.
Yeah.
Equipment. No,
No,
Cooper's
no.
Duck Faden.
Yeah, we're in the darkest timeline, so we we can't use the equipment.
He's lost Abrupt Decay and Assassin's Trophy.
Yeah.
So he's just basically mono creatures because he doesn't have spells and he doesn't have artifacts.
Okay, can't cast spells, can't cast artifacts. Got it.
Yeah. So like Graham's basically got a Narset emblem. It's just creatures.
Nice. Keep in mind as well, the players are playing their 9th round of the day. So this is round 9 of the grindiest match and you've got that Mox Emerald sitting there. Like, it is inevitable that,
Fatigue can set in.
Fatigue is just huge, and one of the best things about being a good Magic player is if you can overcome fatigue and you can play, make the best play. It doesn't mean that you win, but you make the best play all the time. That's really hard, and it's something that the winner of this tournament will do. Whoever's won this has been the one that can play the best through fatigue.
This attack surprised me when I was watching. What do you think of that attack?
Yeah, I can see what Graham's doing, which is going, I'm going to finish the game really fast. But
why finish the game fast? You got so much mana. You got card quality with Dak. You got.
I think this is why he wants to finish the game fast, because he's got Snapcaster Mage in hand.
Electrolyze.
Yeah, I really like Dak embleming though. Because then you can just
especially when you got Snap Electrolyze.
Yeah, you just pass the turn. They play Siege Rhino. They untap. Beckett untaps, plays Siege Rhino, and you're like, sure. And then you go Snap Electrolyze, gain control of your Deathrite Shaman and your Siege Rhino. Like, it's just so hard to beat Dak Emblem that, it's just ridiculous.
Whereas, putting some pressure on board can be neutralized by big blockers and stuff.
Yeah.
He's got Drain, so he wasn't scared of anything.
It doesn't afraid of anything. So if you have to mana drain a Khazali Pride Mage, that's like the worst mana drain you can make, right? Like, you kind of go, I don't really like this. But the Dak Emblem would have changed that. It would have just been like, what can you do? Like, you can't do anything.
No.
When you have the threat of, he's got the Dark and Shackles.
That's like an Dak Emblem on its own.
Yeah. That's GG's.
I think that's one of the sweet things about Blue Moons, that you can get a lot of value out of Shackles for some reason, or maybe because it needs it. It's good, but yeah.
Yeah, I think that matchup was really, really cool, because obviously Beckett was favoured just by deck design by a very, very small amount, but Graham's able to break serve, and he broke serve in just like, did you notice how at multiple times in the game Graham had a single card in hand, but Dak Faden completely changed that single card to be the best card, and then the next best 2 cards, and then the best 3 cards, there was a Fact or Fiction. Like, this is just the power, the testament of Dak. And, anytime people go like, they look at pointings and planeswalkers, and sometimes people raise the point, Dak Fader, maybe that should be a point, and everyone laughs at it. This is a great example of, I'm not saying it should be, I'm just saying this is a great example of why people raise that, because it's a draw to blue-red, and so out of the sideboard in comes the Submerge, Batterskull, Anger of the Gods, and did you see Magma Spray in there?
Probably Magma Spray, yeah. There were at least 5 cards.
Yeah. So there's ample stuff that allows him to grind. So basically, Graham switches into grind mode. Now, the question of what he takes out is based on his approach.
I think he took out niv-mizzet.
Okay, yep. If the can't be countered text on niv-mizzet is irrelevant, then it's actually not a very good card. It's all about, like, if it can't be countered, it's such a good card. But if counter spells are irrelevant, then a 5-mana flying that occasionally draws you a card when they respond with an Assassin's Trophy isn't really that great.
6 mana.
Yeah, 6 mana.
Yeah.
And, gets Thought Seized, all these kind of things. But there's, with Blue Moon players, people who are new to Blue Moon, they often don't take out their Blood Moons because they believe they define the deck. They go like, Blue Moon, it's, that's the name of the deck, so the moons are really important. Yes, they're important, but they're probably the cards you sideboard out the most out of all your cards. They just go out, and the fear of moon is struck into the opponent. They start fetching accordingly, which would reduce the value of the moon, so therefore having just instead of the moon, a subterranean trip. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so Madge the Moon is out. So
Took
it was
out
a bit,
days on the draw. That makes sense.
yep, it was a bit fast, but we could see that, as I was saying, moons are,
So you think all the moons came out?
sometimes you keep back to basics in. It just depends on what your game plan is. Often for me, on the draw, I take all 3 out. On the play, I keep back to basics in, because back to basics is pretty punishing against players who don't fetch. In game 1, if you notice that they fetch actively, then wow, okay,
Dropping cards.
summon Batterskull. It's an emblem, or like I'm going to start with Batterskull on the board.
Underhanded. Well, they're both. It's the Batterskull mirror now.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Except, and actually, I was going to say, except one player has more removal for Batterskull, but in reality, both of them have it. You got like, Knight of Autumns on one side, and
the
then
braids
you've got
on the
braids
other.
on the other. Yeah. So.
Oh, here's a good one. Can you cast Entrancing Melody on Batterskull token for 0?
You can cast it for 0 to gain control of the token.
You still don't get the Batterskull.
Don't get the skull. The skull is on their side.
But the token is good when it's equipped.
Yeah. All right. Look, right off the races, both players kept 7, so that's a good sign of a good game. We start off with Beckett playing basic into Mana Dork, and this is the exact reason why Blood Moons are bad.
Let's see. So last game, Graham had the fire to stop, and now he's got the magma spray.
Yeah, magma spray. It exiles it too, which is pretty sweet. And sometimes you deny Tassiger, which is fun. Sometimes you deny, Renegade Rallier returning a dork. These are the kind of things
very
that are
important.
relevant.
Or Scoo's Life or something, but the Renegade Rally is definitely important.
Yeah. So
he's got his perfect kind of early interaction. Smudge would have been another good one. That's Strip Mine.
That's Strip Mine.
And no play. So he's got it he obviously had the Dork turn 3 play, but it got disrupted by the magma spray.
This is exactly why you bolt the bird, right?
That's a very disciplined sideboard choice as well, because some people would consider that too underpowered to sideboard.
No, it's so good.
It's good.
It kills Kitchen Finks permanently as well. It kills Voice of Resurgence permanently.
Yeah. It's good against Kitchen.
Strangle Root Geist.
Yeah. Alright, so here's a bird, or a mana dork.
Yeah, a pseudo bird.
No counterspell mana up for Graham.
Yep. Graham's like throwing his hands up in the air going like, do you want to strip me? Like, sometimes you can just get a free win because you strip them.
Good thing about Junk is, while you're vulnerable to Submerge, you're not vulnerable to all the elemental blasts, like the blue and the red blasts.
For sure. And the other thing here about stripping was that when you have a mana dork out, stripping is so good.
Especially when it's Deathrite Shaman.
Yeah, even better.
Good fuels, yeah.
So here is exiling the Wandering Fumarole and playing Strangle Root Geist. This is the kind of thing that, Magma Spray, Snapcaster Magma Spray or something would be really painful against.
So he doesn't have the counter magic?
Yep.
Treetop Village?
The Village people are really, really strong. Like, the 3/3 and only 2 to activate and trample allow you to connect with sort of Fire and Ice quite consistently when you're on an empty board. Like, it's a really, really good card.
Or Jitte.
Yeah, or Jitte, yeah. So, no land from Graham. No land from Graham is like, that's really, really rough.
And he had fire for the mana dork, but not for the...
It's good.
Like,
killing the mana dork is really, really good there. And is it charming to draw 2, discard 2? This is, again, like you're saying, disciplined play. Disciplined play is when you recognize the fact that you need to hit your land drop so desperately, you need to main phase, tap out, play Is It Charm, and just take your medicine. Take your medicine, get your land drop, play the land, pass a turn, and go. My shields are down, but this is my only choice. It's better than Hour of Promise gets discarded, so does Counterspell. It's better than holding up mana and then doing it at the end of their turn and then being so far behind the deck that has mana dorks.
Yeah, you get the land drop. How often do you loot with Is It Charm?
Probably 20% of the time.
Okay.
But I tend to play decks that really, really favour the looting. Like in Rug Life, it's so good. Anytime you get more than 3-4 land, you just loot away the lands. In Annihilator 6, it's really good because you can dig for your Emrakul or Sneak Attack.
Here's the Stoneforge Mystic. So Beckett's ahead on mana and he's ahead on creatures. So he'd be... Okay, now he could be potentially ahead on cards too if he equips appropriately. Oh,
Mental misstep.
Mental misstep.
Ah, yes.
Nice.
The old hardcast skull clamp end up getting misstepped. Rough when you had a sort of a Stoneforge Mystic in play. But he had to go for it, you know.
Yeah.
You just have to.
I mean, Graham's on 10. Beckett's got a bit of pressure on board.
Yeah.
So he should be sniffing blood.
This is definitely, with threatening 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 damage next turn.
Yeah, with the
This is
treetop village.
definitely, this is definitely Beckett's game to lose. He's very far ahead. If he gets Anger of the Gods tier, remember there was an Izzet charm there to actively find the third land.
Yep.
That, like, to me, it makes me feel like it's an Anger of the Gods. You know, that kind of like terrifying play.
Yeah, and that's awesome against the Strangleroot guys. Just the exile. You don't
Permanent answer. Just get rid of them. All right, here we go. Direfleet Daredevil.
It's pretty good.
Direfleet Daredevil as a first strike 2-1. Again, I say this is a play that I do not see enough of. People want to hold it for value, they find a way, but this is also a reason why I side out Direfleet Daredevil against mid-range matchups, because I usually only have like 4 good spells, but it was used to very good value last game with the Lingering Souls.
Would you attack with the treetop village?
Yeah, I'd fire up the village people, because if you're presenting the opportunity to trample over the first striker, you do present the opportunity to get blown out by, like, not saying Izzet Charm's gone, but sometimes you just Izzet Charm their treetop village, so it's a 3-1, and then they block with the first striking 2-1, and you just get blown out. But yeah, Abraid's going to get it. And also note that the Abraid gets it before the Mother of Runes gets online.
You could have waited until the Mother's online, but is that too conservative?
I think it's too conservative. When your opponent's on 8...
Well, the Abraid would hit the mum then, potentially.
Correct.
Attack.
Yeah. So I think it was correct to do. Now what's this? This is fire and this electrolyze. That is so powerful. So Beckett was kind of like 60-40, and now it's swung to Graham. I think Graham is kind of like 55-45 now. That play was so good. Exalted here is not irrelevant. Note that there's first...
It becomes a 2-3 now.
Yeah, 2-3, so it gets through the first strike. And Graham has to make a decision. Do I go to 6 or do I chump block? And I believe it is correct to go to 6 because that 2-1 first striker is holding off the Strangleroot Geist.
Yeah. So he's on a 3-turn clock now, or less.
Yeah, and is out to Anger of the Gods or something. That'd be pretty punishing here. Hour of Promise is gone, so that's something to not worry about.
You could cast Batterskull.
Yeah, I'd cast Batterskull would be sweet.
Jason
Mind Sculpt. Jason Mind Sculpt is really good here and rewards not chump blocking because you go to 6 and now you've got the chump block this turn, and you just bounce Kazali Pride Mage and just say I'm just going to time walk you, or you brainstorm.
Yeah, you snap brainstorm there. You might wonder why that was.
Yeah, because if you attack with everything against the Jace, the Jace will die, but you kill one creature, and if you have a lightning bolt, because if you have a single removal spell, it's amazing. So why does Beckett not attack there? Because he smells the lightning bolt. The game's getting worse if you don't attack. So you have to attack, call the bluff, say you better have the bolt. If you don't have the bolt, you've already used Fire and Ice and Magma Spray and Abraid. You've got to have the bolt. If you don't have the bolt, I kill Jace and I lose my Kazali Pride Mage.
Yeah, I think Graham's got a fair few cards in hand. Here we go. Oh no, he kept the niv-mizzet in.
Yep, niv's in. Nice. So that's basically the... Yeah, what? I
think Batterskull coming in here.
Yeah, if you were looking at the attack from last turn, if Beckett attacked and there was a lightning bolt, Jace is on 1.
I definitely attack with at least the Strangleroot, because even if it trades, even if it dies, I suppose he just blocks it. Yeah, but it comes back stronger.
Yeah, but the first strike is huge. Yeah. But yeah, he should have just done all 3 attack at Jace. Call the bluff. You have a lightning bolt or not. If you don't have the lightning bolt, Jace dies. If you do have the lightning bolt, Jace goes to 2, and I lose 2 critters. But then, you've used your lightning bolt up, and then from that point, your Strangleroot Geist is...
You wanted to keep back the Stoneforge Mystic for the Batterskull activation.
Okay.
So you could have attacked with these 2, the Kazali Pride Mage and the
Strangleroot.
So
he was keeping it up to be able to put Batterskull in. Got it. Yep, okay, that makes sense. He didn't want to throw it away into the inevitable lightning bolt. I'd be so curious to see if there was a lightning bolt, but still we're looking at playing optimally and going, okay, if they have the bolt, yes, but if they don't have the bolt, I don't lose instantly to Jace the Mind Sculptor untapping.
Beckett's going fairly wide here. It'd be interesting to see if niv-mizzet with Jace is enough. It probably is.
Yeah,
You're
I
pinging
hear
things
that.
everywhere. The
Yeah.
Batterskull's real.
Yeah, I hear that, 4 damage to the germ token, or, like...
There's an attack. It was with a 5/5 Batterskull. Submerge.
Yeah.
It's so
good.
good.
There was the removal, which was Submerge instead of, say, Lightning Bolt. But so he still would have got punished if he did the all swing at Jace. But he makes a token here, so it's not irrelevant.
Yeah, 6 is not a lot of life.
Yeah, going wide with a token is pretty huge.
But he can't really afford to re-equip the Batterskull. He doesn't have much mana.
No.
He's got 2.
He can return it to hand 1 turn and then drop it back into play with Stoneforge, but that's so slow when niv-mizzet is around. I think here, with the untap, we're going to see the glory of niv-mizzet.
Yeah.
So there was a draw a card for turn, 1 damage to Voice of Resurgence. Now there is a Brainstorm, draw 3 cards, 1 more damage to Voice of Resurgence to kill it, 2 of the damage to Strangleroot Geist to kill it, but it should come back.
I think the first draw was to put the counter on Strangleroot Geist.
Okay, right.
But yeah, he needs 1 more.
It needs to be 1 more there. So, unless Beckett missed the trigger to return it to the battlefield?
He might have missed a draw somewhere.
Oh, wait, there was a draw from the Submerge last turn. Yeah. And that 1 damage put the counter onto the Strangleroot Geist. So yeah, that's where the extra damage was. Yep. So now there's a Preordain, and there's a complicated stacking where the Preordain and the draw card from the niv-mizzet happens. Either way. This we're seeing, there was a Lightning Bolt. Yep, so this is where we're seeing the power of niv-mizzet. Niv-mizzet is literally cleaning up that board that looked so threatening to a life total of 6.
I remember the original niv-mizzet was pretty good at that. Every time you drew a card, you get to do a damage. But this is just that again, another level.
Yeah, next level of that. Yeah. Like that was the one with the flavor text with the equation.
Yeah, 4/4 tap for a card.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
So back to basics. It's just like
He's
destroy target scrubland.
Yeah. Well, it's just pretty good. Half your lands.
Yeah, why not? Attacking with Niv for 5, that's a sign of power, isn't it? It's like
when you've got Jace.
You've got Jace, so I'm just going to chump block with my Direfleet Daredevil, even if you play a creature. I don't even mind.
Direfleet's been the MVP in this game.
Yeah.
He came in and held down the fort early.
People underestimate 2 on first strike for 2. Like, there it is.
There's the handshake. Yep. Well done, Graham, to
Excellent work.
Adelaide Eternal Highlander Cup 2019.
So Graham King taking home the trophy, just there to the right of us. I believe that he's also taking home the Mox Emerald. The players did ID, I think, at some point, but they're playing for the glory.
They're playing for the trophy.
Yeah, that's the most important part.
Even if they split the prize.
Yeah, even if one of them's taking home the top half of Mox Emerald and the other one's taking home the bottom half of Mox Emerald. Either way, the trophy is the key. And sad to say for Adelaide, the trophy has been taken out of South Australia. So congratulations to Melbourne for inheriting the trophy and for having a powerful wizard in the form of Graham King on their side. Graham King came in and with an undefeated sweep through the Swiss, and I think it was 2 IDs, double IDs as well. Undefeated sweep, double ID, and then an absolute walloping through the quarterfinals, semis, and finals off the back of niv-mizzet. I don't think anyone is ever going to underestimate niv-mizzet or Graham King.
No, such a sweet way to win with that kind of iconic card as well.
I think I want to sleeve it up. I think I want to sleeve niv-mizzet up. I want to play this guy. I'm going to probably play it as something. Is it good in Annihilator 6? I'm going to try it. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Thank you very much to all of our interstate players for coming along and jamming with us. And thank you very much to all of our local supporters for playing with Adelaide Eternal. It's our pleasure to put on these events, and it's our pleasure to have you in them.